day to the Thompson Smiley Foundation Punt Drift Cape Town tour. We're about right over here. We're in the Great Karoo, heading towards Ceres. We left Sutherland this morning fairly early. It was the coldest morning we had. Guys were all buffed up and ready to go. Today we're riding for BCRCA. Thank you for their sponsorship. Our celebrity captain for the day is Sean Henderson. So you virtual riders, get on your bicycle, ride with Sean, and to some of this footage of this magnificent country, this Karoo. Wes is going to pan around and show you it. It really is fantastic. We're about to start a climb, quite a big climb, up and then over, and then really into the Tankwa Flats, and then on to Ceres. Enjoy the cycle with us. Thank you for this journey with us so far. I'm hoping you're enjoying it as much as we are. Thank you.
Day 11, team rides from Sutherland all the way into Ceres. Penultimate day. Spirits are high, as you can hear. They've all just been dancing. They're all wrapped up nice and warm. It's about 2 degrees here now. Half the day is on mountain bikes, the first half, and the second half is on road bikes. I might be wrong, but I'm thinking it's about 190 kilometers, so it's quite a big day. But as I say, everyone's in high spirits, so looking forward to finishing, and that energy is going to drive them through, I have no doubt. Yeah.
Who's leading the way? Nobody wants to go. So what are we going? Yeah.
Here we go, that's the question.
Here we go. Second last day, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Check, it's Daniel from here.
Daniel from here, guys. Second last day. Enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, Puta.
Very happy to welcome Sean Henderson today, our day 11 captain for Lartenkloof to Ceres. Sean, wonderful to meet you. And, you know, I was just reading up on you a little bit. You have a very interesting story. And I think maybe the conclusion I can draw is that you are a rider of both horses and bikes. Please give us the lowdown. Take us to the beginning of this story.
Well, horses was kind of right now feels like my previous life, but as a kid growing up, I used to do motorbikes with my dad, and my brothers and sisters rode horses, and my dad passed when I was pretty young, so I couldn't do motorbikes anymore. And funny enough, horses was never my interest or passion, but I kind of got into it, and over the years loved it and stuck at it, and brothers and sisters gave up and eventually became a career. So that was kind of my intro to how I got into horses, and obviously my career progressed through that. And around 7 years ago, I started cycling and loved it and was ready for changes in my life. So kind of stopped the horses and made cycling my interest and passion and sport, really.
But I think we need to unpack all of this a little bit more. I mean, take us right back to the beginning. Where were you born? What school did you go to? What were your interests initially?
I was personally, I hated school. I hated being told when you could arrive and when you could leave and all of those kind of things. And so I literally remember feeling like the biggest outcast at school, because I was the only guy who didn't have to go and watch rugby on weekends, because I literally was at horse shows 48 weekends of the year. I literally would leave school every day and go straight to the stables, and I'd ride every hour of daylight until it was dark, like literally every day. And so I just was, I was just so focused and passionate about, what I loved. So that was really kind of schooling, which then progressed into career, straight after school.
But you talk very flippantly about the horse riding. I mean, you even qualified for the Olympics.
Well, qualifying and pitching up is two very different things. Sadly, I think a pretty good analogy would be the cycling world is, we have some fabulously talented cyclists in South Africa, but when they go to compete at Europe, it's just a step up that they are competing at there week in, week out. And horses is the same. So, qualified to go, the World Games, qualified to go to the World Cup final. But in order to ever actually achieve it, you've got to get a horse good enough to compete at that level and be campaigning in Europe for at least 6 months to a year, lugging your horse around from one city to the next. The costs are ludicrous. So qualifying is amazing, and I was very proud to do it, but it was obviously hugely disappointing to never be able to really be able to actually get to the real goal, so
I think there's a reason why it's called the sport of kings, just purely because of the cost of it.
Absolutely. It's ludicrously expensive, so yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the cycling. I mean, was that just a natural progression for you, or were you on a bit of a health kick and you thought, okay, let me try cycling?
I think it kind of started a little bit doing the motorbikes as a kid. So I kind of loved the trails and outdoor side. So kind of started riding with one or two friends, and I've always been like relatively sporty. I've never been like super talented at any one sport, but when I got into cycling, I've never been so bad at anything in my life. I literally could not keep up with my ex-wife for over a year. I had this friend who was pretty overweight and he used to smoke, and I was so slow that he used to light up a cigarette and smoke while I was waiting to catch up to him. I was like so bad, but my expectation in sport is to succeed at this level, and even though my ability was there, it kind of eventually met somewhere in the middle, and I improved a bit. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I love that. I mean, I find it so inspirational, just the fact that, through hard work, through dedication, through putting in the effort and the hours, I mean, the sky's the limit. And, some people were born with a natural ability, others weren't. And a lot of time in life, you'll see those who weren't born with that much ability actually, beat those that were. So I love the lesson to that.
It's honestly been my life story. When I stopped horses, I've over the years had many people come to me and go, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't ride anymore. You're so talented and this and that." And I smiled kindly, and but the reality is, I know the truth. When I was 14, 15, there were a group of about 6 or so kids that I rode around with the same age and whatever, and I can absolutely unequivocally tell you I was the least talented of the lot. But I rode 3 hours a day, all day of sunlight, daylight, Saturday, Sunday, all of holidays. I would spend 4 or 5 times more hours in the saddle than every one of them. So, by 17, I was able to beat everybody around that era, or those people I rode against. And it was just because of the hours. If you're willing to put in the work with the passion and whatever, you can eventually get somewhere.
Well, you've told us how bad you were at cycling initially. What has happened? What has your progress been like? What have you achieved in cycling?
Oh, so I definitely way prefer the mountain bike to the road. Yeah, I've got to in category, win a couple of races like Joburg to Sea and the Bergen Bushes and a few of those. And I was third once overall at Bergen Bush. I raced with a partner, Nick White, who's a legend cyclist and great friend. And been second at SA Champs in the cross country, and third again in category. So progressing along, but I haven't won any stripes yet, which is being a national champion. So right now my strategy is if I can outlive all those other guys, I could definitely be an SA champ along the way for sure.
Well, you say outlive the rest of them. I mean, you are on the speaking circuit, if I can call it that. You've made health your focus. Just tell us a little bit about what drives you in that area.
It kind of started, I guess, more from a nightmare. My dad passed when he was 39, uncle 52, granddad 53. I realized pretty early on that, you really can make health decisions in your own life that can improve whatever your genetics are. And so that really was the initial, and then obviously along the way became a dad and 3 daughters. And, so driven partly by the nightmare and partly by the dream that I want to be the healthy dad who can play with his kids and, be energetic and all of that. So, that was really where it started from. And, along the way, got to speak at some seminars, and from that, got invited to speak at other seminars and speak a bit around the world. And I love it. I'm so passionate about it. I'm passionate about people making positive changes in their life,
So what sort of agenda do you have, just from the point of view of what are your health interests? I mean, are you a keto guy or a vegan, or, what is your vibe?
Very much down the middle. You get these fads that come and go, and many of these health things, certainly that you hear around today, in my opinion, they do work temporarily. But the question is, what does it do to your health long term? So for me, I'm very much around, sticking to habits, looking at health holistically. When you look at your health, many people think they can just exercise themselves healthy. Exercise is less than 25% of the picture. Some people think they can only eat themselves healthy. And true health is your nutrition, hydration, exercise, sleep, and positive mindset, and all five hand in hand. So when I work with people, I really work with all five of those because they are integral, combined in people's health. So that's probably a bit of an explanation.
Well, you mentioned a positive mindset, and I think that's so important. Even if you just look holistically at yourself, I mean, I'm sure there are a few stories you can relate with regards to disappointments that you've had in the past, and obviously how you've moved on from those, and the lessons that you've drawn. Maybe you can share some of that with us.
I guess maybe a couple I could draw. I mean, in sport, you're as good as you were the last weekend. So with the horses, I learned, you go along and you might hypothetically win a World Cup qualifier one weekend, and then you pitch up at the next event a week or two later and you're nowhere. So the reality is, you 1 minute you're up to, you constantly just like the next goal, the next goal, the next goal. I think those are great life lessons that I learned. But if I think of my show jumping career, initially it was like pre-business, and then since getting into business. And in business, I really found a real interest in personal development, positive mindset, goal setting, all of that. And I think if I look at the second half of my career, I was able to work and put in less hours and achieve more, just learning things around visualization, having a positive mindset. I don't ever want it to sound arrogant, but literally pitching up at an event and in your own mind going, okay, you know what? Who can beat me today? Like, seriously, where before I'd always arrive thinking, oh my gosh, so-and-so is here and they're doing well. And, you really can learn to train your brain to have better expectation, so yeah.
I think it's like that Wonder Woman pose as well, where you put your hands on your hips and you just stand strong. And it's amazing the power that you feel just by doing that. That's something that I do just before events, where I'm like, come on, you can do this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about some of the highlights you've enjoyed in your life, some of the things that you're really proud of.
Well, I definitely think that some of the sporting things, but I think if I had to pick out one, is my top horse that I rode before I kind of stopped my riding. He initially was an SPCA case. He literally was going to be sent off to the SPCA, and a lady down the road from where I lived managed to, basically she got a phone call saying, if you can get here before we leave to take this horse to the SPCA, you can have him. And that's kind of how she got him. I coached the daughter on the horse until he was at the top level in the teenage categories. And when the daughter went off to study, I ended up buying a half share in him and then a share in him. And, most of the horses competing at the top level today, even in South Africa, would cost anywhere between 1 to 20 million rand per horse. And this was a little SPCA case. And he was a little thoroughbred, so an ex-race horse and not a bred show jumping warm blood horse. So anyway, got to kind of compete him to the top. And the Derby is like probably the most prestigious event in the year. And he jumped a clear round his first year around the Derby. And then the next year went back and did it again. And I'm not even sure how many horses in the whole history of South Africa have ever jumped a clear round 2 years in a row. Probably none, or maybe a couple at best. And that for me was pretty proud to be able to produce a little horse like that. That was kind of stood out in my life and my career,
It's a very cool story. Sean, tell us a little bit about COVID-19, the impact that it's had on you, your family, how you guys managed to get through all of that.
COVID-19 has affected my family a lot less than most people. My girls, they're now actually at a school, but initially they were being homeschooled. So when COVID hit, we were already homeschooling. So that was pretty good. With my training, I used to and still do most of my training during the week on the indoor bike on Zwift. So when COVID hit, nothing changed. Most of my business is online, and I work with some people around the world. And so, to be honest, I was one of the very lucky ones from that point of view, regarding COVID. But obviously, devastating seeing how it's affected people's lives, how it's affected people's careers, their health, their families. And obviously, you'll have such a heart for anybody who's been affected by it.
Indeed. Now, as far as your social life goes, do you see riding your bike as being part of, the relaxation, or have you poured yourself into it so much now that it's serious? What do you do for fun?
I have a very boring life. When I say a boring life, I choose to keep it simple. It's, it's my girls, my sport, and which is the cycling and business. And so my life's pretty simple around that. I'm certainly not into big parties and socializing and all of that. And hey, nothing against those who are. It's just how I choose to keep my life, But yes, I have many great friends that I compete with, and as a result, your sport does become socializing. And it's part of what I love about cycling is that, certainly like where we race, you go out and you race as hard as you can, and this week you beat your mate, but at the end you give a big hug and hey, what a winner, and next week they beat you, and you're egging them on. And I love that side of this of certainly mountain biking especially.
Yeah, it's certainly some healthy competition. I'm just thinking now in terms of the reason why we're here. I mean, obviously, it's all got to do with the Thompson Smiley Foundation and the cycle tour taking place. It's all about education. What are your views on the importance of education?
So I'm somebody who left school and never went on and studied. So it sounds like I'm going to now give perspective of somebody who hasn't done what he's kind of like, I don't know, suggesting or preaching. But one of the last countries I went to go speak at was in the Ukraine before COVID. And it's so interesting seeing countries like the Ukraine and even, I've been to Russia many times, probably at least 10 times. But looking at the Ukraine, slightly smaller population than South Africa, and yet a number of percentage of people that have got a tertiary education, it's literally part of their schooling system that they have a tertiary education. And it's just incredible seeing the mindset of people, seeing the dynamics in that country, seeing, how many people, they just, they're able to just, anyway, it's different to our country. And for me, it just would be so inspiring to see what our country could be, as an example, if we could just do things like fix up our education for everybody. So I just love what, the foundation is doing. I just think it's absolutely incredible. And, I love the story where, unfortunately in life, we can't help everybody, but who we can help, you make a difference. And the ripple effects can be so much bigger than we realize. So love what the foundation's doing. I think it's amazing.
Well, Melody and Kyra are the two beneficiaries of this tour. Do you have a message for them individually?
I just say, love the journey. They've been given an incredible privilege. And so often in my life, I have spent so much time just being so intensely focused on what I'm doing that I don't enjoy the journey as much as I could, would, or should. And, it's something I've learned over the years is to just, love the journey, love every day, love the opportunity that you have, and then pass it on. See how you can impact other people. Because true success is not the car you drive. True success is not the house you live in or how much is in your bank account. It's the difference you make in the world. That is what, really feeds most people's hearts and spirits. So to be able to pass it on over and above having the opportunity, I think is a message I'd love to suggest.
No, I love that. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for all your positive energy and your constant smile. It was great chatting to you.
Well, thank you. And obviously so fabulous meeting you, and same thing, just you're always so classy, so energetic, and just fabulous to be able to meet in Zoom real life.
Yeah. Awesome, Sean. Thank you so much.
I'm here with Kevin Furness, mechanic, cyclist, got lots of cycling experience. Kev, today's day 11. We've cycled over 1,800 kilometers so far. How's the tour going so far for you? What's the highlight been?
Well, the highlight is firstly meeting all these guys I'm riding with and ladies. I mean, they're a phenomenal bunch of people to ride with. It's an amazing experience to start where we've started. I don't know of many people that's done that before. Riding all the way from Porndrift, which is a big challenge already. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's an amazing trip. You go through ups and downs, highs and lows, but at the end it's still all fun.
Brilliant. And you've been cycling together now as a group for 11 days. How do you find the teams working together? What's the team dynamic like?
Yeah, I think when in the beginning everybody's still trying to find their feet and trying to suss out who's who, but as we go on and the days get longer and everybody goes through a good time and a bad time, everybody starts bonding together. And the team dynamics is unbelievable. It's amazing to see how people can all get together. When one oak's got a problem, everybody jumps in and we all try and sort it out. So yeah, it's a big bonding experience. It's just something amazing. I don't think you can really put it in words. Yeah, it's most probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
And obviously you're privileged enough to do the actual events. If you could say anything to the guys at home riding along to the virtual ride, what would you tell them?
Come on guys, you know, virtual riding is amazing. I know you're going to see a lot of the footage or some of the footage, but we get to see this beautiful country of ours in all shapes. So I'd say any advice, next year you got to get on your bike and actually literally come and do this, because that's the only way you're going to experience what we do. Is you go through all the provinces, you get to see places that I don't think most people get to see in their lifetime. So yeah, get out there and just do it for a good cause, do it for the Smiley Foundation. Come and join us.
Brilliant. And obviously leading on from that question, if you had to give the guys doing this actual tour next year any advice, what would that advice be? Guys,
you need to put in the work first. It's not a tour that you can just come and wing it and think you're going to get on your bike and ride 200 k's a day. So yeah, put in the work, but if you put in the work, I promise you it will be all worth the effort. Definitely.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Kev.
Thanks.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Bounce.
Alistair Cronk from Alley Cats Events, one of the sponsors of the Thompson Smiley Pond Drift to Cape Town tour. Alistair, day 11, we're getting there. What's the highlights of the trip been so far? How are you finding it?
It's very difficult to obviously say a highlight of a tour. At the moment, it's so close yet so far, but I mean, there's been so many highlights of this tour. We've ridden through from Limpopo to all the different provinces. There's been, semi-desert, there's been bushveld, we've seen wildlife. There's been some really highlights on this tour, so it's very difficult to single out a single event, but really, really great tour to be on.
Brilliant. And you guys have now been riding over 1,800 kilometers together, 11 days. How are you finding the team dynamic?
The guys obviously they work well together. The team spirit is very good as well, and when one of the guys battle a bit, everybody jumps in and helps, pushes a little bit, because we've all had our highs and our lows, and we're probably still going to experience it today. Still quite a lot of climbing happening today, so even though it's the second last day, it's probably like the queen stage of the tour. It's probably the toughest, longest day. We had a little navigational error just now which added a few more kilometers, so it's going to probably make it in about a 200k day, but the guys are they're taking it in their stride, and it's really good.
Brilliant. And obviously you're fortunate enough to do the actual tour. We've got the virtual tour happening just after. What would you say to the guys at home doing the virtual tour?
Definitely join it in, guys, and just come and have a look at the footage. We've had drone footage, we've got cameras running on some of the guys' helmets and all over in the cars and stuff like that, so the footage is going to be unbelievable. Come and experience it instead of just riding and watching your screens, your virtual platforms that you guys use. Have something running on the side and actually make the riding that little bit more exciting.
Excellent. And the last question for you, Al, is if you have to give one bit of advice to the guys planning on doing this next year and the years to come, what would that be?
Obviously do your homework, do some training. You do need to do a couple of long rides, but look after your bum is going to be the biggest thing. Your legs, you can keep them turning over throughout the day, but just look after it. And like I said, if you do a couple of long rides beforehand, the guys from Thompson Smiley Foundation, they do put a couple of rides together, which is really cool. They're well supported, well funded, and looked after. The guys look after you with food and stuff, so it makes the riding that much more cooler and much easier to do and achievable.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Nice. Okay, that's that.
We grow, we go, but in the middle.
Let's nail this royalty free motherfucker.
Just my dream. you to tell me, am I out of my mind? I just want you to tell me, 'cause I'm lost and I'm blind. I just want you to tell me, am I out of my mind? I just want you to tell me, 'cause I'm lost and I'm blind. I just want you to tell me, am I out of my mind? I just want you to tell me, 'cause I'm lost and I'm blind.
nobody else. I've got one thing on my mind. I already hear the bells.
Baby, I'm not running around looking for nobody else. I've got one thing on my mind. I already hear the bells.
Baby, I'm not running around. 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 Baby, I'm not. Baby, I'm not. Baby, I'm not. Baby, I'm not. Everything about you calling out to me, I've got to hold ya. Everything about you calling out to me, I've got to hold ya. Baby, I'm not running around looking for nobody else. I've got one thing on my mind. I already hear the bell. Baby, I'm not running around looking for nobody else. I've got one thing on my mind. I already hear the bells. I'm a victim of love calling out to heaven above for ya. Baby, I'm not running around looking for nobody else. I've got one thing on my mind. I already hear the bells. I'm a victim of love calling out to heaven above for ya. Baby, I'm not running
is the hour, the darkest place. Dante's Inferno, the devil's maze. It's a good world, good world going bad. Half the people die while the rest of us are splitting hairs. It's a good world.